What is up, guys? It is Noxie here, and I turned 40 next year, the massive 40. I've been through a massive transformation journey already a couple of times through my adult years, and I'm going to get jacked for 40 and be in the best shape of my life possible. And here's the starting point. So what exactly is my starting point? So 117 kilos. I've had a big year of footy, had a back injury earlier this year, which gave me some serious depression. I was really down on myself, all while still trying to run a gym business, training clients, trying to be awesome for them every day, and be exceptional for my amazing wife, Beck. Now, that 117 kilos, to give you some perspective, yes, the weight has ballooned out a bit in the last month or so leading into my cut that I'm finally undergoing now to start getting jacked for 40. Is the reason for it is we've had things like end of season piss ups, been on the beers for a whole day doing Silly Sunday with the guys. Absolutely legendary day. It was great. And we had 2 other birthdays that weekend, so it was just a big weekend of food, beers, whatever. But the great thing is this cut has been awesome in just me redialing my focus on what goals I want to work on. Footy and sport are out of the way for now, which is great. So I can really just work on training my body, being consistent, and just really dialing in on where I want my body to be next year by my birthday, which is March 22nd. So you're watching this video now, guys. The idea is just wanted to do a bit of a blog along the way. I'll probably try and do a weekly episode of these while I'm doing my cut, at least over the next 5 weeks. But yeah, so week 1 has been about starting points. Now, I've obviously had a detox week after Silly Sunday, which was last week. And that was just getting used to training, doing my 5 days a week, getting my steps back in and getting routine back on track. And kind of curbing the extra snacking and things that were sneaking in throughout the later half of this year. Now, from a start of this cut, the idea is it is a protein sparing fasting sort of simulated cut, which is really cool. So I'm working in conjunction with my coach, Paul Meldrum, who I've been working with for 2 years now. And we've actually set some solid goals that, I want to be in peak condition by the time I'm 40 next year. And what does that look like? So we've gone through together, as always, when it comes to starting a cut or starting a goal process, when it comes to health and fitness, of reverse engineering from where we want to be. So the idea was, I've obviously done a bodybuilding competition about 4 or 5 years ago. I won my division for the body transformation. I got in my best shape ever at that point. I was also nearly my strongest as well, which was pretty cool. Doing sets of 10 deadlifts, five rounds, 150 plus kilos. It's pretty taxing stuff when you're trying to do a cut for a bodybuilding comp. So I was in a pretty good nick. And got down to about 95 kilos on competition day. Body fat percentage was about anywhere from 10 to 11%, I think, on comp day. So I was pretty stoked with that. So the idea is if we can do better again, but then obviously keep my physique in better check moving forward from next year, which would be really, really cool. So making some adjustments to food. So the idea with the cut is we are looking at 200 plus grams of protein per day, which isn't too big of an ask for me. I've added, I'm sitting at about 250 to 270 for the cut, which is really good per day. Some extra chicken and stuff like that. The idea with carbohydrates and fats, mainly we're going to be getting fats from things like my meat sources that I'm using. And then carbohydrates, we're mainly getting them from fruit and veggies. So the idea when I'm having one of my main meals, so if I'm having, say, beef mince, for example, I've got to make sure that I have a really solid serving of about 200 grams or so of some healthy vegetables that are non-starchy. So we're trying to alleviate carbohydrates from things like, your usual suspects, potato, your rice, pastas, breads, grains, all that sort of stuff, and we're just trying to get it from fruit and non-starchy vegetables. So that keeps it really simple as a protocol for the cut. Now, when it comes to training, the training has been awesome because I can still lift heavy weights. We're using a lot of machine-based stuff at the moment. There's still some free weights in there as well, which is good because I personally just love using dumbbells and barbells and things. So that's really cool. We've programmed that in. But the idea is the volume and the intensity isn't crazy. Like, we're not doing, 4 or 5 sets of everything. Some of the exercises are literally just accessory things. So there'll be, maybe one set of say 10 to 15, just to make sure we're still getting that movement in for that particular, so say shoulders or rear delts or something like that. So we're still training them throughout the week. And then the next thing is steps, is just aiming for 10,000 minimum. So for me, because I'm running a gym, running classes, 10,000 Monday to Friday is pretty simple, because I get most of that done just moving around in general. And then I add in any other steps that I need to catch up on. And then Saturday, Sunday, I just make sure that I go and get my 10,000 in, adding a walk in, whatever. So I've got the treadmill here at home as well, so I can use that in the office if I need to get my steps up. If it's raining and pissing down like it is now at the moment in Mandurah. But yeah, so that's really cool. So 10,000 steps minimum, that's just a non-negotiable, 7 days a week as part of the cut. And the intensity doesn't have to be high. That's why it's walking, which is great. And then cardio, we're just cutting it at about 90 minutes per week. So again, I'm just spacing that out over the week. My first 2 days this week, I did 20 minutes post-training, 20 minutes post-training, and then I'll do some the Savo. And then tomorrow and Sunday, I'll probably do 20 minutes or 10 minutes. So spacing out that 90 minutes, again, this is the first week of the cut specifically, so I've just been kind of testing that out to see how I feel and to see where I can fit it in so it's not stressful and I'm keeping stress down but getting the work done, so which is really, really cool. So the idea with this is, okay, now that we have hit the end of the week, where are we at? So did doing all of this actually have an impact? Yeah, fucking oath it did. So from Monday, weighed in officially at about 117, which was really cool. So gave us our starting point. As of this morning, I'm sitting at about 114, which is great. So there's about 3 kilos of body weight loss there. Because of the high protein, my strength hasn't dropped off at all this week, which is fantastic. I'm still lifting heavy, which is really cool, and progressing in the gym with my training as well, so which is really good. I haven't felt fatigued, which is really cool, because I'm still getting about 17 to 1900 calories compared to my 3000, which at first I thought might be a big drop off, but it's actually been fine so far. And I know it's only week 1, so we'll see how that goes. But in terms of feedback from myself and a bit of self-analysis, which is always handy in these sorts of situations, everything's moving as it should. The weight's coming off steadily, which is great. We'll be able to launch into week 2. I've already planned out my weekend in terms of how I'm going to get food in and where I'm going to get food from. I've got footy finals tomorrow that I'll be going to, watch Freo play with a couple of mates. And then I'm going to Beauty and the Beast with my wife and family, so that'll be good. But I've already got my meals and everything ready to go, so I'll make sure I have my food ready so I'm not caught short and buying shit while I'm out and about, so that I can stay on track. And then Sunday onwards will be perfect, so which is really cool. So does it work? Of course it does. Has it been stressful? No, because we went through and planned everything out. So there is a protocol for this that Paul's written up with me, and we've worked together as coach and client to make sure that this fits me best. Because again, if we have a program that doesn't actually fit the client and what they're after and fits their life, then they're generally not going to stick to it. So you've heard me bang on about that before, about my own clients. And again, that's something I wanted to be sure of, is that make sure that this fits me, fits my lifestyle, and I can just get it done week in, week out, with consistency being goal number 1. So that's pretty much an update from me, guys. It's been a great first week. Can't wait for week 2. We'll smash out the weekend. It's going to be great. I've got my training done today. I've got training again tomorrow morning, and then I'll just get either a run or some walking in on Sunday to finish off the week. So absolutely loving it so far. Feeling great. The body's feeling lighter, leaner, and stronger already, which is great. And just cleaner. I just feel cleaner without all the booze and stuff like that from footy and things. So, but yeah, so that's kind of my take on our cut to get fit for 40, which is really cool. And yeah, make sure if you aren't already, guys, subscribe, chuck a like on the video. All the support's always welcome on the channel, and I'll see you again next week. Cheers.